local professional matchmaker Erica Kaibartis, just from It's Just Lunch Chicago, says your first trip together could be your last unless you plan more than that and more than what just to pack. Exactly. So welcome back, Erica. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
I think that the first question people have is, why is this stressful? And I guess even before you get to that, I want to ask, how long should you have been dating before you decide to go somewhere?
You know, that's a great question. I think it really just depends on the couple. I mean, there's some people who, get along really well and they want to go right away, which, could go either way. I think, after a few months, why not?
Go on a trip. I think that's a good range.
It could tell if you're actually going to be together long term or not.
Right.
And things might pop up. You say, oh, goodness, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah. Well, and what are some of the,
I was going to say, for a few months, you're really dating the representative. You're not really dating the person.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
So you're going to get a lot of information on this trip about your significant other.
Traveling is so stressful in general. And then when you add a partner into that, if it's your first time traveling together or even your 10th, something is going to go wrong. It's traveling. So you get to really get to know that person on a different level. And the best and the worst of couples really come out during that time. So you just really never know what's going to happen when you're together 24/7.
So it can be a good gauge is what you're saying. I mean, you really get to see everything. All right, so what are some tips, I guess you could say, for those people that do want to travel together?
Yeah, so my first one is probably the most important, I think, out of all of them. It's the pre-trip prep.
Okay.
It's very hard to say, pre-trip prep. But, as a professional matchmaker, I tell my clients that It's Just Lunch all the time. Part of being in a successful relationship is having clear expectations and being on the same page. This 100% relates to traveling. You want to make sure you plan your trip before you go. If you want to lay on the beach all day and have margaritas and your partner wants to go, I don't know, go be touristy and have a jam-packed day full of activities, you're probably going to have a fight when you're there. So make sure you're talking about what you're doing and finances and all of that little things before you go.
That's a good plan.
What happens if you do have a fight while you're there?
Yes, and I think it's inevitable. If you've ever been on a trip with a partner, you're going to annoy each other. You're going to get under each other's skin. It's going to happen. I think the only thing you can do is just know it's going to happen and just prepare yourself to work it out. I mean, you're on vacation. You want to have a good time, right? You don't want to spend your time fighting. So have fun. And I always like to say the things to do when you're actually on vacation: keep rested. Make sure you're eating. Don't get hangry. I think that's the number one thing couples fight about these days.
I always get hangry.
Right? Everyone does.
Right.
And it happens all the time. So make sure your partner's well fed. And if you do get in a fight, just work through it. It's really important.
Talk through it like anything else.
Exactly.
It was interesting. One of your last points there, you said something like, don't be afraid to be honest if it's a deal breaker. But would you do it on vacation, or would you wait till you get back to the airport?
No. You're on vacation.
Like in baggage claim? Like you're already like, you know what, so this didn't work out. Sorry, I'm out.
Take your separate Ubers home.
You're actually safe there.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it is
Clean
true.
break.
No, you should really wait until you get back. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your partner. But don't do it while you're on vacation. You're supposed to have fun on vacation. So you're still on a trip. Have a good time while you're there.
Have you heard a lot of horror stories of people traveling together for the first time? Maybe a little too early, or...
Yeah, I think it's dependent on every person. But even if it's a bad trip, I mean, it's still a good story. And that's the thing. You don't want to lose that spark. Even that's one of my tips, actually. Don't lose that spark. You want to make sure if you're on that trip, you're there on a romantic vacation. So make sure that even if you plan everything to a T, remember to do something fun and spontaneous.
That's a good point. I think that sometimes we get so regimented in what we want to do for trips, it just doesn't feel like it was just loose and goofy and fun. So got to keep that going.
And those are the things you're going to remember, when you do something fun and sexy with each other on vacation.
Oh, I always remember that. Yeah, don't.
I do the fun part. I don't know about the sexy part. You can take the sexy part.
Erica, this is so much fun. Thank you so much for sharing. Those are great tips.
Great tips.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
You saved a lot of relationships.
Hopefully you come back.
And if you want more information about Erica and her matchmaking services, just go to itsjustlunch.com.